Okay, so remember psychographics, again, as applied to Superman's target market. So let's look at the AIO, the activities, the interests, and the opinions. So, as far as activities go, he's going to cater to people who get themselves into somewhat accidental, dangerous situations, or possibly occupational hazards, certain jobs or just basic circumstance. Ultimately, people who may take risks, but not like crazy risks, but just, in general. The students in the campus class also identified, weak-minded, a weak soul, or weak physically and weak in power, but ultimately kind people. Because remember, we have to take this back to Superman's mission. Bad guys get in trouble too. Bad guys get into dangerous situation, and bad guys get into, occupational hazards, so to speak, and they take risks. But ultimately, they are not working towards benefiting humanity as a whole. So you also have to put that psychographic in there. These people are also doing the best they can with what they have, and they are interested in humanity as a whole. The pay it forward mentality. He's not going to help someone who is out to help himself or herself only. He is out to help people who want to pay it forward, who his kindness will not go unnoticed or, not passed forward to the next person. So these are some of the psychographics that we identified as far as Superman's target market. You may have more, you may have less. So now we're going to move forward with the geographics, okay? Or really, geodemographics, we can lump those all in there. Maybe populous areas, and we discussed certain countries with highest populations. There's pros and cons to each country. So we identified maybe China, Russia, India, African countries. There's just so many of them for us to segment, so we just scratch that off for ease of time. But there's plenty, there's plenty of South American countries that are Mexican, countries, south of Mexico, Central America, who need help. A lot of European countries that need help. But, we just went with the most populous areas, just thinking of geographics. China, Russia, and India. So with China, what do we know about China? They are not really humanitarians. They have population limits. They have limits on the amount of children they're allowed to have. The government, and to the point where, when couples, it's been known that when couples don't have that child, that only child they're allowed to have is not a male to pass along the bloodline or the name line, they've oftentimes killed the babies. Those are the things that they deal with, and that are somewhat understood and acceptable over there in certain formats. With Russia, you're looking at a socialist country. We're also looking at a corrupt government. Some of this is what's going on with the Winter Olympics and the, $60 billion, and there's no private bathrooms, and there's debris from the building and construction everywhere. If Atlanta could get their act together in 10 years, as well as, China and Vancouver and the other places that the Olympics have been, Russia had the same amount of time to be able to, put things together. So their corrupt government doesn't help, And then India, you're looking at what we know about India. Again, high population, but then you're still looking at the caste system and, how it's led government-wise. And, a lot of people, a lot of the culture over there, they don't like, they want to keep their children married, and they have they choose the spouse for them at a young age and things like that. So these might sound like some reasons not to help, but on the reverse, maybe there are some good people who want to be humanitarians in China, and they want to, be the change for China to turn them into a loving nation, loving of just human life, and same with Russia and India. Maybe they're those people. So there's reasons why you think not to serve them, but they could also be those same reasons to serve that population. Something to think about. And with this, we're pretty much ending the things that truly apply to Superman. You can get into benefit and usage, but for the most part, this might not. I mean, we're hoping that people aren't, you know, multiple time users of Superman's service. I mean, hope you make some different decisions in life, you know, except of course for Lois Lane. But I think there were some, you know, different dealings with that relationship, but things to think about. While you're moving forward with this assignment. The next assignment is the pest assignment, and it's talking, and that's your pest analysis includes your, you know, you have to look at your macro environment, the overall environment, your political environment that can affect how the industry of your service and then your service specifically, you know, the economical conditions, social conditions, technology conditions. And again, we'll try and post the videos from the classroom discussion of those onto Angel as well, like we have done this one. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, please, you know, call me or leave a message and I can call you back, or please send an email. Thank you.